My name is Zolta Lucrezia Manso. I am Italian, but I'm currently living in South Africa. I'm a light language channel, I'm a psychic medium, I'm an activator, I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, and I do a whole bunch of, different things. I've perfected my craft in the years, but what I really do is I just help people become the best possible version of themselves. So that's really what I do. I'm going to be speaking about light language and about how it can assist and help you in reprogramming your DNA, your etheric structure, your light body, and how really this is the new technology that has been coming through now on an individual and collective level to assist the planet in the raise of vibrational frequency. So since the beginning of time, there's always been people speaking in tongues. Like, it's not like a new thing. There are more earth-based languages. Light language would be your more galactically channeled language. So it's a series of ways that source expresses itself through the human form. So it can be sung, it can be spoken, it can be written, it can be movement, it can be signed. It really is just an expression of the self, and it operates from fifth dimensional density and up. And it works on the etheric body, on the light body, and it assists in aligning the physical with the energetic bodies. So locking that into alignment and assisting in raising the vibrational frequency. But it's very versatile. It's like multifaceted, multidimensional. It operates beyond the constraints of space and time. The codes can be coded, they're intelligent, they're smart. And it can be used in a lot of different ways to assist the people. Yeah, I think it just starts with intuition. I think one thing leads to another, and then there's a lot of surrender in what I do. So there's a lot of trust, and there's a lot of knowing that you're always and consistently divinely guided, but there's also a lot of structure and patience and discipline, because it all comes down to me being very grounded and embodied and present, because only by being that, I'm able to be centered and to know what it is that they're saying to me when they're saying it and receiving the messages. If you're too busy worrying about the past or the future, you're not going to be grounded, you're not going to be present in the now. So I would say that it's an exponential growth of me following my intuition, which has brought me to do what I do now at the level that I do it now. But it's really important to understand that anyone can develop their psychic vision, their psychic intuition, and work with their gifts. With me, it just really exponentially grew because I also do energetic healing on people. So when I do healing on them, I hold space for their own healing. Healing happens on myself. So I started integrating more aspects of my multidimensional self. So I started operating on levels that my baseline vibrational frequency grew very, very quickly. It started rising very, very quickly. So I operate now on a level that your standard person energetically isn't really operating at, if it makes sense. So the way part of my job and part of my journey and part of my mission here is to bridge this gap, to explain to people how they can do this themselves, and to communicate and to bridge what comes from here and bring it here and be able to kind of extrapolate it and then explain it, so that everyone can understand, and see what it is that's going on, and everyone can help and everyone can assist. People do light work and energy work all the time. They're not doing it consciously. What I'm doing is taking that, putting intention in it, working through the heart center and doing it consciously, which makes a big difference. So this type of work will assist in raising the vibrational frequency of the planet, and as a consequence, everyone will benefit from it, because people will learn how to release programs, let go, clear karma, and all in all really be happier and live a better life, because it's all about raising your vibrational frequency. That's really what matters, and in doing that, you move and you navigate shadow, and you move through things, and you clear and you release and you let go. So by activating grids and ley lines and doing this type of work on a planetary level, you are assisting everyone on a collective level, and you're assisting Mother Gaia as well, because she is also going through this process with us. She's also clearing, she's also releasing. So so she's just a part of this as much as we are as humans. Yeah, so I discovered my gifts and my abilities when I was very young. I was one of those kids who would see shadows in the closet and couldn't sleep. And I would also get a lot of prophetic dreaming. So it started when I was very young. I was always interested in like tarot. So I started reading tarot, I think at like 12 or 13 years old. I was even told off at school because people were like, no, you can't do that, sort of thing. And then I think society, programming and things like that made me kind of like shut it down when I was in my teens and growing up. And then I kind of started going down a path which wasn't for my highest alignment because I was so overwhelmed and so psychic, and I had so much empathy and I was feeling so much. I tried to numb. So I started like drinking and partying and not taking care of my body and really going down in a direction that is what felt like I needed to do at the time, because on a subconscious level, what was happening was that I was feeling so much and picking up so much. No one teaches us in school how to deal with our energy, and this is where I want to come in and help people. I want to explain to all these people who, like all these empaths and all these people who are struggling with, social anxiety and people and whatnot. It's literally like all you need to do is learn how to shield. You shield your frequency, you shield your field, and you can actually like manage it. A lot of a lot of star seeds and sensitive people get super overwhelmed, which was my case. And then I just took decisions that weren't really for the best. And then I had a few traumatic experiences back in 2017. And then 2019, and those really shifted my perception. They really opened me up in different ways. And then from there, I kind of like moved my business online and started working online. And then it all came to what it is now. So I was brought up Christian Catholic. I never really believed so much in the institution of the church, but I did find power in, like, I would walk into a church and I would feel like the energy, like I would feel it already. So it's funny because my grandparents were quite religious, but my parents not so much. So I would actually be the one that would go to church on like, not every Sunday, but like on Christmas and Easter, with family. I did do like the communion and all of that stuff. My mom is also psychic, and so is my grandma. So I come from a long lineage of witches. However, none of them took any like psychic career or anything like that. My mom still to this day has prophetic dreaming. Me and her are quite psychic. My grandma still comes to me through the astral space. She died about 3 years ago, but she'll still come and talk to me and we'll have full-on conversations. And she was also quite psychic. So it is in my blood. And then when I started with the Reiki, I did my Reiki attunement about, 10 years ago. My parents, they've always kind of like been open and supportive. They never really opposed this. They didn't really believe me when I was a child and I had these like dreams and I would see these shadows and beings and I couldn't sleep. I mean, for years, I remember they said it was a nightmare because I would wake up, or I would go to them and say, I can't sleep, there's stuff in my room, and they never believed me. Now that I'm a psychic for a living, like, they believe me. So that was quite a big thing. But I would say all in all, they're very, very supportive. I don't know if they fully, completely comprehend what I do to the level that I do it, but definitely on a subconscious level they do. But they are very supportive, and also like being a single parent, like my family has been there for me. So I'm very happy and grateful that I'm able to navigate this line of work and have the support of my family. So I enjoy like social life. It's quite interesting because I have a social battery, and then when that is down, then I kind of like go and hibernate. But I am an Aries, so I am very social. I enjoy, yeah, concerts, festivals, parties. I'm Italian, so I like going out for dinner. I enjoy good food. I do follow like a restricted vegetarian diet, but there's still plenty that, you know, that I can find to eat. So that for sure is like a big one for me. And then I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, so I really enjoy yoga, physical movement practice, anything also new like hiking, going in the forest, spending time in nature, drawing, anything creative as well. I recently went to hear Eckhart Tolle. That was so incredible. So I like going to like speeches and things like that. So again, like, I guess where I get divinely guided to go. And I do also really like movies. I like films. I like even like 3-hour films and things like that. I did do film school as well growing up. So I really enjoy films and sometimes series. But I'm not like, I don't really have attachment. I actually struggle with series because I don't have enough time to kind of like follow through with one. So if it's like a mini series, then it's fine. And it's nice the ones that come out every year, because then it's like once a year and then you see it in that amount of time and then you've got the whole year to do your stuff and then it comes out again. So I couldn't start like a series with 6 seasons and watch it through. Yeah. But yeah, movies, spending time with family, that's really important for me as well. Yeah, so it's quite funny. I always knew that I wanted to go into some sort of healing. I mean, I wanted to be a doctor growing up. And I even did like, I think a year of biomedical sciences or something like that. Because I knew that some part of me wanted to go into healing. I just didn't know that the right direction for me was going into energy work, which is something that I have been doing in many, many different lifetimes. So I had that for a little while. Then I did film school. I actually did marketing, media, and communications when I was in Italy. Then I was at the School of Visual Arts in New York for a little bit as well. I did like a course there. And then from there I moved to do university and I finished in Cape Town. I finished my degree in film. I did directing, screenwriting, costume, makeup, and styling. But I wasn't really in the industry for very much. After that, I moved into the clothing business. I started importing vintage clothes from Italy. I had my shop. I ran markets. So I did a few different jobs, but every single job that I did and every single experience that I had has helped me, informed me to be able to be the embodied energy worker that I am now. Because every technique and skill and even like social interaction that I learned from that experience and from that particular line of work. I mean, I was a bartender for a few years. I worked in clubs in Milano during Fashion Week and things like that. So all of that has helped me kind of like create and master the skills that I use and that help me now and that I use to assist my clients and the people that I work with. The same goes for my own personal life experience. The people that come to me are often navigating personal experiences that in some way can relate or resonate to myself. I feel like I've lived 1,000 lifetimes already just in this one, because of the amount of experiences that I've been put through and the kind of wisdom that has come with them that I can now, share to the best of my ability. My hair has been red in many, many different lifetimes. In this one, it helps me to ground because I work in such high vibrational frequency spaces 24/7. I really must do as much as I can to ground myself. I had lifetimes as a mermaid as well, which is quite funny when people, but it's been like this in many lifetimes, and it's very interesting with me with my hair and nails. It's very painful for me to cut it. I really, really, really try to avoid cutting it. I use it almost like as an antenna as well. It picks up frequency for me, so it helps me. So it is an instrument and it is part of kind of like my work. There is a reason for me to have it this color. Sometimes people come to me and they're like, oh, but you're spiritual. Why are you dyeing your hair? It's killing you. And I'm like, first of all, everything is what you make of it. I do use very organic dyes, but regardless of that, for me, my hair is assisting me in the work that I'm doing. So that's what I choose to see, and that's the timeline I choose to align with, and the frequency that I choose to embody. So that's what it's going to be like for me. If someone else wants to see it differently, that's their choice, you know. Then with the tattoos, it's very interesting. So obviously the sacred geometry works and assists me. So what happens is they actually open up this one, that one, my hands, this one here, whenever I'm channeling. And if people have vision activated, they will be able to see this when I open channel. They literally become portals of light. So they actually become portals, and light comes through, and it comes in and out. I've had symbols on my body in many different lifetimes as well. And it's very interesting because this came through just now as I was prepping for the Conscious Life Expo, that I knew this, I dated this person back in 2018, and he told me this story. He was not psychic at all. Well, everyone's psychic, but he wasn't. Let's say he was very, very, he had a very 3D existence, beautiful being, but very 3D existence. Anyway, long story short, we dated for a while, and then one day he comes up to me and he says, you're not going to believe this, but he never had any psychic vision or intuition in his life, but he had a dream of me before he knew me. He had this very intense dream like a year or two before he knew me, where he saw this woman from the back sitting on a chair in his living room with long red hair and the body covered in a geometry and sacred geometry and tattoos. And he didn't connect. And then after a while that we had been together, after a few months, he was like, that was you, I saw you. So, and at the time I had some tattoos, but not as many as I have now. I've got constellations, I've got Pleiades and Lyra tattooed on me. I've got me being abducted right there. I've got an alien and his little spaceship. I've got another one here that's working through the hand ones. I've got my little cat here as well. I've got my Mayan calendar symbol, the flower of life. These are the flowers of Altea. I've got the snake, which is an animal that I work with. I've got a butterfly on my back that I work with a lot as well. So everything is done consciously and with intention within my sphere. Let's put it that way. It hasn't always been that way, but it is that way, and it will be that way from now on in my experience. Yeah, I'm going to open space now and set the intention for my weekend, for the Conscious Life Expo. And I'm just going to call in my team and do a little bit of a transmission and see what comes up. So as I call on the Archangelic Collective, Michael to the south, Uriel to the north, Raphael to the east, and Gabriel to the west. Call on Archangel Metatron with his blue cloak of protection from above, and Sandalphon to seal the grid from below. So call on our higher selves or spirit guides. Anyone else who wishes to be present for the greatest and highest good, you're welcome in the space. As we anchor into this grid, we open up space, setting the intention for the highest alignment, for what is needed for us in the collective at this moment in time to come in. Calling in divine rays, anchoring, 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 opening, 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 new, takarasuko ishinataka. Tria reate kukara ishina yata rea siera taka reoro kokoro ia chiera taka. Neya rea tre yero koko ayesa yatieta kakora yetari. Ndaina rea trea kiero koko ayasiera taka rea reo ku ara isiena taka. Tri an ye uk asiera tak ierasat umrasera yatari. Triatare atiet kora yashieta kara se kora yetara tsina taka. Triara tre akora tre asiatuk una ishira taka. We call in divine beings of light. We call in the guardians. Yanukumai shina takara tria sira takara. Shiraya takara ishirokoro isina yatakara, all the galactic councils of light. Kirokumaya shina taka mokoro ishira taka kakara ishira yatakam tara ishira. As we hold the highest intention for ourselves within this moment in time as we call on unity, oneness, connection, source consciousness. We expand and allow and open our hearts, making sure that we operate from a space of unconditional love today and in every single day. Okay. It was definitely some opening. It's always very interesting whenever I say opening, but my channel is very integrated. So I don't, it's not like I need to tune in or like it's always very much there. But yeah, it always creates a certain physical activation as well. It's not just energetic, it's almost like the whole body starts vibrating from the frequency. I'm sure if people have, had experiences like that with energy work, and they know what it feels like. It's almost like an energy high. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. My channel it started automatically in the beginning. It just started opening and it just started moving, and then you kind of like learn to move with the energy with it. It becomes one with you, with your system and with your energy field. There are specific mudras and symbols that work in specific ways, but it's an embodiment. It's an embodiment of the energy itself, of source, of creation, and of what comes through. And so you are moving through this very high vibrational frequency energy within your body, and then releasing it and letting it out. So so that's kind of like how you operate from it. I mean, if you look at dancers, they're also channelers, because they're also channeling and moving through energy in the way that and I've never done any kind of dancing or singing or anything like that, but when I channel, sometimes I'll be able to sing. So it's quite interesting to see what you are capable of when you start operating from these higher levels of consciousness in different states. So for me, I have very developed claircognizance. It's just a knowing, like I'll just know. I will get images here and there. I am quite clairvoyant. So I started very intensely with my clairvoyance. I have developed all my clair senses. I don't necessarily use all of them. So I do have clairaudience, clairgustance, claircognizance, clairsentient, and then clairalience is the other one. So based on the 5 different senses, there's a clair connected to them. But ideally, what you want to be using is just your claircognizance, which is your knowing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I'll be channeling, and then stuff will come through, or maybe I'll get an image, and then I'll be like, oh, this is what they're sending me. Oh, this is what I'm seeing. It's sometimes limiting the human words to explain, because it's so multidimensionally layered, this type of work. It's never like a dull moment, and I'm still consistently learning every single day, with every experience, with every channeling, with every time I connect. I learn something new, and I expand myself as well. So all I can do is really try and explain it in the best capability and the best way that I can do that, trying to not filter it too much, through my human.